A very good evening. Many thanks for staying with us on TV47 tonight. These are some of the stories making headlines tonight. 23 COVID-19 deaths in a single day.
Today, we also report the highest number of fatalities. 23 patients have died from the disease in the last 24 hours.
Kenya records the highest number of COVID-19 fatalities in a single day. The numbers are still rising. Kenya-Tanzania row resolved. Kenyan government says Tanzania has reversed its earlier stand, barring KQ flights into Tanzania.
Kenya has never banned flights from Tanzania. Kenya has never banned travelers from Tanzania. What we have done is to dictate certain health related protocols of people arriving from various countries.
But from entering Kenya's airspace, but the passengers will have to be quarantined. And the revenue sharing row still eliciting debate. DP Ruto allies now back his proposal for a fresh revenue formula. A very warm welcome on Saturday night news. My name is Mumbi Chege. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Faith Cheptile. Now, the country has recorded 23 deaths from COVID-19, this being the highest number ever recorded in a single day. 727 new COVID-19 cases were recorded today as the government now says it's worried of the young people who have been reported dead of COVID-19. The country has recorded 23 deaths in the last 24 hours, the highest ever in a single day since the virus broke out in March. This now brings the total death toll to 364. In the last 6 days, Kenya has recorded 70 fatalities as the numbers continue to rise. Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe noting the rising number of young people succumbing to the virus. 727 new positive cases were recorded today out of 6,371 samples, bringing the total number of positive cases to 21,367.
But just to establish that the fact that we are opening up does not mean that we are safe now, is that today we also report the highest number of fatalities. 23 patients have died from the disease in the last 24 hours, bringing our fatality to 364. These are 364 families that have been affected, 364 Kenyans who have succumbed to this disease. And our sincere condolences go to the bereaved families and friends of those departed.
254 more patients have recovered. The total number of recoveries now standing at 8,491, with 88 of the patients being discharged from home-based care. Nairobi continues to lead with the highest number of new infections at 470 cases today, while Kiambu recorded 64 cases, Kajiado 25, Kirinyaga 20, and Mombasa with 16 new cases. As the number of fatalities continues to soar, the Ministry of Health is grievous the majority of Kenyans are no longer keen on observing some of the set guidelines.
Of importance also is that when we look at the list of those who have died today, one of them is a 16-year-old, a young person who's 16 years old. And it's sad when that happens, and we know that there has been this myth, and I repeated that yesterday, that we are increasingly seeing younger and younger people passing away, and therefore, we want to urge the young people to desist from as much socializing as they are. They have continued to do so, even in homes and so on. We want to ask to desist. We want to urge that people stop socializing.
As of August 1st, Kenya has tested a total of 310,330 samples for the coronavirus. Meanwhile, the government has listed 16 quarantine facilities that will charge between 2,000 shillings per day and 5,200 shillings per day. The facilities include the Kenya High School, St. George's Girls High School, Kenyatta University, as well as Jomo Kenyatta University of Science and Technology. And international passenger services at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, JKIA, are resumed following the government's decision to ease movement restrictions. The first flight departed to London as other flights jetted into the country. David Mudhoka reports.
Saturday marked the resumption of international flights into and out of the country, ending 130 days of no activity in Kenya's international airspace. This follows the government's relaxation of movement measures that also saw the resumption of domestic flights on 15th July. And as the maiden KQ-100 flight took off at JKIA to Heathrow Airport in London, England, more flights followed suit. Kenya Airways Board Chairman Michael Joseph and British Deputy High Commissioner Susie Kitchens were among those on board the inaugural flight.
It is significant and an optimistic day for Kenya and the UK as Kenya Airlines resumes international flights to London. Other destinations are available.
We started with a busy day because being the first day we thought things would be very quiet, but I'd like to confirm to Kenyans that already this international airport has seen departure of a 787 aircraft to London Heathrow this morning. We've seen a flight to Dubai. We've seen a flight to Addis Ababa.
Incoming flights have since touched down at the JKIA, with the airport regaining normalcy steadily. The government allowed flights from 19 countries to jet into Nairobi in a communique. Among the 19 countries include China, Zimbabwe, South Korea, Japan, Ethiopia and Rwanda. Other countries include Uganda, Namibia, Morocco, Switzerland, USA, Netherlands and Qatar. Italy, Canada, the United Arab Emirates and England conclude the list, with Transport CS James Macharia saying the list will be under constant review.
We continue to review that list. Even tomorrow, Sunday, we shall be adding more countries to that list.
It's been 130 days since we did this. Airlines are supposed to fly, and so we are back to business.
The resumption has been welcomed with open arms by sections of Kenyans and foreigners who began streaming into the JKIA from as early as yesterday.
It was only that I was waiting for the flights to resume so that I can go and see my family in UK. Yeah, so it's about a couple of months now.
This, as the government says, the Kenya Airways will maintain absolute adherence to COVID-19 measures.
The Ministry of Transport has assured Kenyans that the airport is ready, with the government giving the nod to passengers from up to 19 countries to travel into Kenya. And with more countries under review, air travel in Kenya is on a path to revival. David Mudhoka, TV47 at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport.
And Tanzania flights will not be barred to Kenyan airspace, but passengers from the country will be put in quarantine. The Kenyan government has refuted claims that her relationship with Tanzania is in question. This after Kenya excluded Tanzania from the list of countries that will be exempted from their citizens placed in quarantine. Joash Onsare reports.
International flights commenced today after 3 months closure of the operation due to COVID-19. And after Kenya excluded Tanzania flights from the list of countries whose passengers will not be quarantined upon arrival into the country, Tanzania announced to bar KQ flights into her airspace. Kenya has however said Tanzanian flights will not be barred into the country.
Kenya has never banned flights from Tanzania. Kenya has never banned travelers from Tanzania. What we have done is to indicate certain health-related protocols of people arriving from various countries.
Transport CS James Macharia, addressing the media at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, said the list of countries traveling into and out of Kenya will be reviewed regularly as COVID-19 is not static. In a letter, Tanzania from the Civil Aviation in Tanzania said Magufuli's government has decided to nullify its approval for Kenya Airways flights between Nairobi and Dar, Kilimanjaro, Zanzibar, effective August 1st until further notice. The director of the authority, Amza Johari, said that Tanzania has noted through a number of media its exclusion in the list of countries whose people will be allowed to travel to Kenya effective August. However, Transport CS James Macharia has disputed any standoff with Tanzania.
We are reviewing in terms of countries which will be coming here and with passengers exempt from quarantine.
The diplomatic sour relationship between Kenya and Tanzania has been growing by day, with Kenya's step to close its entry points to suppress the spread of COVID-19 locally, escalating that dispute. Further, CS Macharia said he has talked with his transport counterpart Isaac Kamwele of Tanzania, and he hopes the flight advisory will be reversed.
So, I'd like to confirm we did agree with the Minister for Transport for Tanzania. We shall be making this announcement that indeed we met by virtual meeting this morning, and we have agreed on all issues, and that advisory which was given by Tanzania Civil Aviation Authority yesterday, we believe by the end of the day it will be reversed with regard to the Kenya Airways flights from here to Tanzania.
Joash Onsare, TV47, Nairobi.
And in Rwanda, the national flag carrier Rwandair has finally resumed commercial flights after months of suspension due to the novel coronavirus. Diana Iriza reports from Kigali, Rwanda.
Now, Rwanda's Chief Executive Officer Yvonne Makolo mentioned last month that Rwandair will embark on its activities on the 1st of August. And she also mentioned that Rwandair will start off with the routes of the countries that have lifted their travel restrictions. In the beginning, it will operate flights to African destinations, including Lusaka, Libreville, Nairobi, Kilimanjaro, Dar es Salaam, Douala, and Cotonou. Rwandair is among few airlines that have pushed ahead flight resumption despite the pandemic that has gripped the air travel industry. As airlines are returning to the skies, safety will be a #1 priority for safe flying of passengers. Carriers are making modifications to their in-flight services, and airports are implementing healthy safety measures to keep passengers safe. Meals on board Rwandair will now be pre-packaging to reduce contact, while cabin crew will be wearing full protective gear. The air flight will be regularly cleaned and disinfected, and all surfaces, including tray tables, IFE screens and remote controls, armrests, seat belts and overhead luggage bins are thoroughly disinfected to maintain hygiene. Passengers departing, transiting or arriving in Rwanda will be required to present a COVID-19 negative certificate taken within 72 hours before departure. At the Kigali International Airport, self-check-in kiosks, thermal cameras, screening robots, hand sanitizing dispensers have been put in place as part of health and safety measures. Diana Iriza, Kigali, Rwanda.
Thank you, Diana, for that report. Now, the revenue sharing formula has continued to elicit mixed reactions amongst leaders. Now, legislators Oscar Sudi and Didmas Baraza backing Deputy President's sentiments for the Senate to have a win-win formula, which will see 47 counties get a fair share without losing money.
Deputy President William Ruto's call for the Senate to go back to the drawing board and come up with a win-win formula on the revenue-sharing divide has now been supported by his allies Oscar Sudi and Didmas Baraza. Baraza arguing that development projects should be considered in any formula, not just population as some senators claim.
It is not fair. Kwa mbele ya Mwenyezi Mungu. Haitawezekana tunyang'anye mtu ambaye pesa tulete ikuje Nandi. It is not fair. Mkae chini ile wako nayo yenye wamekuwa wakipata wasidi kupata, mtafute namna nyingine ya kuongeza pesa kwa watu wengine, lakini tusinyang'anye ndugu zetu pesa.
You don't give money to a county because the people who are there are very many. You give money to a county to fund programs. Kama ni Kisumu ambaye iko na watu hata kama ni 1,900, unaangalia kaunti ya Kisumu inahitaji nini? Kama inahitaji hospitali, kama inahitaji shule, toa hiyo pesa iende jenge hiyo shule, iende jenge hiyo hospitali. Lakini wewe unapiga kelele sisi ni wengi, mpewe pesa mpaka mkule. Kama ile kidogo mnapajwa kama kaunti magavana wanakula.
Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei, and whose county would be a major beneficiary of the third generation formula if passed, however, says they are going to pass the Budget and Finance Committee report come Tuesday next week.
The senators who voted against forgaining are now going to support us on Tuesday. We'll pass the motion as it is, as proposed by the Senate Finance and Budget Committee. It is as simple as that. So nothing failed. It is just some people somewhere went and drafted the amendment and it was unpopular before the members. But I can assure you, we are as one of the caucus leaders within the Senate caucus on this formula, we have around 28 senators who will support the motion on Tuesday. Mark my words. And we have the support of the party leaders across the board.
Yesterday, Deputy President William Ruto called upon Senate to put away their differences and come up with a formula favorable to all counties. Ruto opposing the Charles Kibiro-led committee formula.
That is our ask as government and as the people of Kenya, so that we can move together as a nation. It is possible from where I sit to have a win-win formula. And I want to request both the minority side and the majority side to go back to the drawing board, put the country first, look at every county as part of Kenya, and decide on a formula that is fair, that is equitable, and that brings the nation.
And if the Senate will fail to agree on the formula, Parliament is likely to amend the PFM Act to allow counties to get 30% revenue share before a consensus is reached. This will cushion the devolved units from the revenue delays currently witnessed.
I vote no.
The Senate is expected to sit on Tuesday next week to pass or shoot down the Nairobi Senators' amendments or adopt the Kibiru-led committee report. Elizabeth Mutuku, TV47 Nairobi.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for that report. Many thanks for staying with us on our Saturday night news. Let's take a short break. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Welcome back. Now, Nairobi University lecturer Dr. Ken Ouko is dead. Dr. Ouko, a renowned sociologist, died this morning at a city hospital. According to sources from the university, Ken succumbed to COVID-19 complications. Until his death, Ouko was a senior lecturer at the Department of Sociology at the University of Nairobi. And before his death, Dr. Ouko has been vocal on issues related to sociology and relationships. Various leaders have eulogized Ouko as a great man who has touched many lives in his profession as a lecturer, sociologist, psychologist, among other areas of duty. May his soul rest in peace. Now, residents of Makongeni in Makadara constituency in Nairobi County are now complaining of being forgotten by their leaders of the years for lack of water, electricity, and the poor state of sewerage pipes. Now, their appeal to the government is to improve their living conditions to avoid diseases like cholera caused by environmental pollution.
This is the picture painted in the Makongeni area in Nairobi County. The poor conditions of sewerage pipes and lack of clean water. The residents decry being sidelined by their leaders as they live in a polluted environment due to lack of clean water.
Tunaumia katika masiweji zetu, hatuna maji, saipi hata hatuna stima, watoto hata hawawezi kupata masomo. Tunashindwa tuko Kenya gani tafadhali, tunahitaji msaada.
On the other hand, they blame the political leaders in the area for involving politics in water supply in the area.
Maji kutujakuwa nayo Makongeni, lakini sasa hiyo maji imekuja ikaingizwa siasa. Mbunge wetu na diwani wetu wanapigana. Wanasema kwamba diwani wetu wanatumia hiyo kama platform ama tool ya kufanya campaign.
Due to the lack of electricity in these homes, children have failed to further their education and increase the risk of causing fire accidents when using candles.
Stima nayo saa hii ni kama tuko giza kabisa. Juu candles ndio tunatumia, hata nyumba zimeanza kuchomeka, watoto wanaangusha candle, nyumba zinachomeka.
Residents are now beseeching the government to improve living conditions and sanitation to avoid diseases like cholera. Nanok Lauren, TV 47.
And calm is steadily returning in the clash-torn Nesut, Marigoshi and Ndoswa areas in the eastern Mau Forest, days after the violence broke out in the region. Now, this follows the government's declaration of a dusk to dawn restriction of movement for people in the clash-hit areas. Now, the clashes have since claimed 4 lives, with scores nursing arrow wounds at Elbagon and Nakuru Level 5 hospitals in Nakuru County. Eli Logova reports.
Clashes that have marred edges of the eastern Mau Forest for a better part of this week seem to be fading away after the government dispatched more than 200 police officers to Marigoshi, Ndoswa and Nesut areas to quell the tension and enforce the dusk to dawn curfew. This follows the killings of 4 people in the clashes, with the latest person to be killed, a 24-year-old man who was shot by the police during confrontations. Scores more have been left nursing injuries following the clashes suspected to have been caused by land disputes involving warring communities. Several houses and business premises were torched, with all activities grinding to a halt. Residents are yet to come to terms with the trail of destruction left by the attackers. Tens of families that fled their homes for fear of attacks have since sought refuge in local schools, including Oinop Teach Primary School in Marigoshi.
Vile mnaona watoto saa hii bila anakaa pande hii, shida ambayo iko hapa ni kubwa. Hata sasa wengine unasikia amegonjeka pande hii, wengine hana dawa, hana mabrangeti, hana chochote.
Na ukweli ya kwamba tulikuwa kwa mashamba na tulinunua hii mashamba, na yenyewe wakati tulikuwa kwa hii mashamba yetu, jana ama juzi hii mambo ikatokea, tukafukuzwa kwa manyumba na mashamba yenye tunaishi ni shamba yenye tulinunua.
This happens as a section of Maasai leaders in Narok County call upon the Independent Police Oversight Authority IPOA to speed up justice process, bringing to book alleged killer cause behind shooting to death of 2 youth at Olpusimoru area.
Na pia tumeona IPOA kwa ground. Kwa hivyo ni kama serikali wameanza uchunguzi. Na postmortem imefanywa na imeonekana ya kwamba vijana walipigwa risasi, mmoja alipigwa risasi kutoka nyuma na risasi ikatoka mbele. Na kama ni risasi ya serikali imetumika kudhulumu mwananchi, basi tunataka hao askari waondolewe kazini na pia waadhibiwe waende kotini. CID wa Narok wameitisha hiyo risasi, wamechukua kutoka hospitali.
Rift Valley Regional Commissioner George Natembeya has said that peace meeting will be held in the area from Monday next week to seek lasting peace in the region. Eli Logova, TV47.
And after years of crime in the city, a group of young animal farmers known as Makongeni young farmers from Makadara constituency, Nairobi County, have now been able to support themselves by keeping domestic animals such as dogs, pigs, among others. Nanok Loren reports.
In 2009, Makongeni Youth Farmers was born after contributions were made. Before, they were involved in criminal activities and had no choice but to devise a way to encourage those in the area to down their tools of crime and find ways to earn a living.
Walikuwa wanaenda kufanya hiyo activities zao ili kuja kwa kumoto. Pap ukiangalia Makongeni nyuma yangu, generation yanifuata hakuna. Wala wanafuata ni wadogo. Si generation immediate. Jio generation immediate iliingia kwa crime na ilikuwa ni time mbaya.
Michael Habwe, a resident of Makongeni, says that the group commenced with 6 members and after others were encouraged by their work, they increased to 40 members. Aside from animal farming, residents such as Philip Otieno from the Makongeni Silva area have been involved in various activities, including playing football and boxing. About 300 boys and 50 girls begin their day at 4 a.m. to keep fit, but now boxing activities have been suspended due to the COVID-19 pandemic in the country.
Hapa tunamukaga saa 10. Watu wanaenda roadwork, tukirudi tutaingia gym. Tunaanza mazoezi mpaka saa 2 asubuhi. Sasa wa vijana wadogo, serikali tuzuia tusiwatrenishe, lakini tulikuwa na trenisha. Kulingana vile sasa ugonjwa inaenda juu, ilibidi tuwafungie vijana wasitrain.
As a result of COVID-19, these farmers have had a hurdle of running their farming activities due to lack of electricity and inadequate animal feeds. According to Michael, their efforts mimic that of a candle, which without the knowledge and support of the government and well-wishers, it will easily be extinguished.
Bila information na support ya serikali, hii ni msuma. Itazima. Serikali jitolee. Itusaidie kuimarisha. Ungeomba well-wishers, wale wanaweza kuja Kenya hapa ama nje, watujengee hall na viongozi wetu wakae nyumba yetu tusaidiane.
Nanok Lauren, TV47.
And fumigation of public transport vehicles in the Mount Kenya region has commenced as operators now seek to comply with the new government directives that aim at curbing the spread of COVID-19. More than 1,000 public service vehicles have gone through the exercise so far. Now, according to Kiambu County Assistant Director in charge of Public Health, Samuel Gishimo, should the operators adhere to the set guidelines, the fight against the deadly virus will have achieved a lot as they interact with so many people in their daily activities.
Tumekuwa hapa kutoka Wednesday tukifanya hii magari fumigation. Hii hii kesi hii tumeendelea kutoka wakati huo. Siku ya kwanza tulifanya kama gari 100, jana tukafanya kama 300, na leo tutafanya zaidi ya 1000. Hii magari tunataka ifanywe hivyo kwa sababu hii ugonjwa ni wahasa iko, hii ugonjwa iko. Hii fumigation itakuwa inafanywa pengine mara moja kwa mwezi, lakini kuna kila siku kuna ile kazi itafanywa kila siku kupanguza na sanitizers, lakini hii fumigation pengine ni once a month.
Ni pia kuhakikisha kwamba yale mambo ambayo tunazingatia ama tunaambia watu wa matatu wazingatie ni njia mwafaka na ni njia hakikisho kabisa kwamba tukiweza kuyazingatia kwa makini tutahakikisha kwamba ama itakuwa njia moja ya kuleta ugonjwa chini.
Conductors wenzangu, tafadhali si ati kubeba excess ndio utapata mshahara kubwa, na tena hiyo kubeba excess ndio unaharibu maisha yako na ya wale wengine na familia yako au ambao unafanyia kazi. So ningeomba abiria na maconductors sana abiria, juu nyinyi ndio mnakuwa na haraka sana. Unaambia conductors ni wache niingie excess. Tafadhali abiria tuheshimiane.
Many thanks for staying with us. Let's take another short breather. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Welcome back. Now, police have arrested 5 men aged between 40 and 50 years suspected to have defiled and infected a 13-year-old girl who is mentally challenged with sexually transmitted diseases. Calvin Chitoa reports from Eldoret.
Residents of Chemusian village gathered at this home to listen to the story of an innocent mentally challenged girl who is lucky to be still breathing after the ordeal she allegedly underwent in the hands of 5 men.
Yeye akanipea na akanifunga mkono na kitu. na akaniambia na akanitoa na akafanya tabia mbaya.
13 years Chero, not her real name, narrates how the suspects have been defiling her occasionally, enticing her with green maize and money after the act.
Akaniambia unipe shika mahindi, mimi nikaenda kushika, sikuwa najua kitu yoyote.
Medical report after examination at a nearby clinic and from Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital confirmed that she had been infected with sexually transmitted.
Ni watu wa familia, si watu ambao wako kwao, ni watu ambao wamehoa, wako 40 years and above. Alafu wakati mtoto yangu alipoaripiwa, nilipeleka hospitali, ikapatikana ya kwamba mtoto yangu ameharibika sana. Mwili yake imepasua na akapatikana na ugonjwa ya STI.
The angry residents have vowed to take law into their hands to punish the suspects if police will set them free after they were arrested.
Na hiyo ni musase. Hata kama nyinya akarudisha hapa, utaweka moto. Utaweka moto.
Hao watu wasiwachiliwe hata mmoja hadi wafikishwe kotini.
Ni watu ambaye nawaelewa. Watu wawili ni watu ambaye wanauza chang'aa, ni watu ambaye wanafanya mambo ya ya busa na chang'aa na wanauza. Mmoja ni mtu mkora kiasi. Wawili ni wazee wenye heshima yao ambaye hata sisi wenyewe tumewachukua kama mababa zetu.
Gladys Letting, one of the victims' teacher, said children in the area are vulnerable due to the rampant illicit brew and insecurity.
Msimu huu wa corona tunajua kwamba wanafunzi wengi wamedhulumiwa. Na kinachosikitisha zaidi ni kwamba kuna wazazi ambao wanachukulia msaha. Ukisikia kitendo kama hiki, kuna wazazi ambao wanasema tuongee kinyumbani.
They said 4 cases of pregnancy of school-going girls have been reported since government closed schools 4 months ago due to COVID-19 pandemic. Uasin Gishu Police Commander Johnston Ipara said the 5 suspects will be arraigned in court on Monday. Calvin Chitwa, TV47, Uasin Gishu County.
Really unfortunate, and we hope that the young girl will get justice. Now, Marigoshi Road is expected to connect to Naivasha town with food-rich Nyandarua County. Willie Dennis Jiro reports from Naivasha, Nakuru County.
Among other roads that have made accessibility almost impossible is this Marigoshi Njabini Road, classified as C67. The recent launch of its construction by the road CS, James Masharia, comes in as a gift to many residents in this area, who says the situation has been long over wanting.
Barabara imetusumbua kwa muda mrefu. Motobike zetu kuharibika, gari kuharibika, mimea yetu tunaitupia kwa shamba tu. Jua tuna barabara ya kutokea, lakini hii kimarizika, si tutakuwa sawa kabisa.
Bereni hii barabara ilikuwa baya sana. Ndio unaona kama hii manyumba imekaa namna hii kwa sababu hakuna barabara. Barabara ndio inaleta maendeleo katika jiji la watu.
Marigoshi village lies to the northern part of Naivasha town and has been doing well in fresh farm produce as compared to its neighboring Kinango farther to the north.
Kwa sababu sasa tukilima tutakuwa tukileta vitu hapa kwa soko yetu, tukilima basukuma, spinach, kitunguu, yote tutaleta wapi? Tutaleta hapa.
Hali haijakuwa mzuri sana hapo mbeleni kwa ajili wakati mwingine kukinyesha unapata hauwezi safirisha mizigo. Haya, na bado pikipiki kuharibika haraka sana kwa ajili ya barabara ikiwa mbovu, ubebe mizigo mzito inavunja chuma.
The construction of this road, as said, will bring forth growth and development to a village.
Msione kama ni hivyo tu, kwa sababu hii Marigoshi inatoa wakubwa. Kama area hizo tuko na MP, tulikuwa na Senator Joroge, tulikuwa na Kehara ambaye aliaga.
Ni jambo la shukurani sana kwa rais, kwa sababu kama sio rais mwenyewe of course wakuwa na timu yake ya Waziri Masharia, nafikiria hii barabara haingepata nafasi ya kujengwa hata sijui ni wakati gani, labda milele haingewekwa rami.
The completion of this road, that is a 32-kilometer stretch, is estimated to take a period of 18 months since the commencement a month back.
na miradi yote ya serikali ina benefit kwa vijana na kila mtu, lakini hapa kazi haijatufikia vijana. Barabara imefika kwetu, lakini hatuyuko kazi vijana wote. Wanapewa vijana wa mbali, lakini hapa Marigoshi hatuyuko kazi. Tungependa hata serikali tutetee tupate kazi.
Reporting for TV47 from Naivasha in Nakuru County, my name is Willie Dennis Njiro.
Now, since March this year, close to 602 school-going girls have been impregnated at Karachonya, Homa Bay County. This is according to unofficial data from Kenda Sub-District Hospital. These are, however, the cases that have been reported, with fears that close to similar numbers are out unreported. The blame has been majorly placed on boda operators who have since distanced themselves from the accusations.
When you are in school, you are pregnant, you are back at home, nobody is taking care of the child.
Nilipata ball nikiwa bado nilikuwa naenda shuleni, na huyo mwenye alipata ball nilika yangu si yeye aendi shuleni. Sasa vile nilipata ball nikaona ni ngumu kwa ukiwa shuleni na uko na ball, na pia naomba serikali wanisaidie vile nitalea huyo mtoto yangu na mamangu, na nikizaa huyo mtoto yangu bado nataka niende tu shule.
Tumekuwa tukilaumiwa kwa mimba za mapema ambazo zinatokea kwa watoto wetu wanafunzi. Saizi janga la corona limefanya wako nyumbani, hawaendi shuleni, lakini hizi mimba nyingi zao zinatokea kwa wale wa rika zao.
Hii shida inatokea kwa kila boma, walimu, daktari na kila wazee.
You know, when we have, for example, 600 girls who are pregnant in Karachonya constituency and 6,000 girls who are pregnant in Homa Bay County, we should not forget the fact that we are looking at a commensurate infection of sexually transmitted infections and including HIV. And so as a program, we are ensuring that, you know, when we get the post-rape care forms and we have positive tests on any of those diseases, we ensure follow-up so that the girls can get the necessary medical care.
Now, a group of Miji Kenda youth cultural ambassadors have launched a program to sensitize coastal residents against COVID-19. The group consists of girls and women who wear traditional attire and visit areas like markets in major towns of the coastal counties to enlighten people on the importance of preventing the spread of the deadly virus. Now, the group, together with Kilifi County government officials, visited Kwajiwa Market in Malindi and managed to distribute face masks and sensitize residents on keeping safe during this pandemic.
With Kilifi County being among the first to be hit by the deadly virus early this year, the Chenda ambassadors have made efforts of sensitizing coastal residents against COVID-19. Speaking at Kwajiwa, Bella Tumaini, Director of Administration in the Office of Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi, said currently Kilifi County is recording low COVID-19 numbers and is leading in sensitization campaigns.
Katika kaunti yetu tumejizatiti kujikinga, kuhamasisha watu ili tuweze kupunguza ugonjwa huu. Na kama tujuavyo kufikia sasa, naona ni kaunti yetu iko mbele kwa mahamasisho na idadi iko chini katika ugonjwa huu wa corona.
The campaigns kicked off in Kwale County, where they visited Msambweni and Lunga. The traditional attires, she says, has helped in the sensitization process as people are attracted by the dress and normally pay attention.
Kwanza kabisa ita attract jamii kutusikiza kile tulichonacho. Na tumevaa hivi ili ule ujumbe wetu tulionao uwaingie zaidi.
Felista Kahindi, one of Chenda's coordinators, alluded that they launched the program in Kilifi after finding that poverty levels are high and the locals have had a hard time in accessing face masks. She says plans are underway for visiting Gongoni Market in Magarini constituency.
Kama kikundi tukaonelea afadhali tuanzishe
hamasisho hili na kupeana kwa wale ambao hawajiwezi. So far tumepeana barakoa zaidi ya 2,000 kwa sababu as a group tunatafuta partners. So far we're working with the county government na kuna national government na wahisani wengine.
Aside from COVID-19 awareness, the Kenda ambassadors have also been educating young girls against teenage pregnancies during this period. Nanok Lauren, TV 47.
Now, with the face coverings becoming mandatory in all shops in the UK, a British company is manufacturing a snoot type of face covering made with an antiviral protein that disables viruses including SARS-CoV-2 that causes COVID-19. Lucy Hope, Communications Director at Virustatic Shield, says the mask is designed to trap up to 98% of viruses.